Welcome back, everybody, to Magnolia on Money, where we discuss everything financial from your economy to retirement. I'm Ed Cox with Magnolia Wealth Management. Today, we are going to continue on the path of talking about required minimum distributions. So last week, I touched on some of the basics, and we went over what age you have to take it and the table that's used, some of those kind of the basics, foundation of required minimum distributions. And so today I wanted to get into some of the details that may affect some of you out there that are having to take required distributions, and some of you that are getting close. These are good little tidbits to know. So let's dive in. Once again, I'll share my screen. We'll go over last week's real quick. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that since we did a whole show on it, but we'll dive into some of the details here. All right, hold on. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. And the general rules, last week we talked you have to be 72, or at 72, you have to start taking the distribution. You must have your full yearly required minimum distribution out by December 31st, or there's a 50% penalty. Now remember, there's that little first year rule that applies to some of us. That you have a little bit longer, but I don't want to get into all that today since we have, once again, a whole show on that. Roth accounts do not require distributions. And then the amounts calculated are using the IRS life expectancy tables and combining that with your December 31st value of the previous year. That gives you the amount that you have to take. So that's what we did last week, and we went over all that in the tables. So this week, let's get into some of the details. These are questions we get a lot of the time. So I'm hoping this will clear some of that up. All right, so the first one is an annual required minimum distribution may be taken as a lump sum or on an as-needed basis, regular scheduled payments. So basically what that's saying is, hey, you can take it however you want it. You can take it monthly, quarterly, annually, randomly. It doesn't matter. As long as the money's out of the accounts by the end of the year, the government does not care. Second, if you have multiple IRAs, and this is including SEPs and simple IRAs, you can withdraw the combined required distribution amount from just one account. So if you have multiple accounts that require distributions, you can combine the amount that you're required to take and take it all out from one account, which is really helpful. And when we're in planning stages and somebody's actually retired and we're pulling money, we want the money we're pulling out of to come from certain accounts. That really helps in the planning process. So we use that all the time. If you have multiple, here's the caveat, and I'll make sure you're clear on this. If you have multiple 401k accounts, so that's still at the employer, you still have a 401k at the employer. Let's say you had 3 different accounts from your old employers. You worked at 3 different places and you kept those 401k accounts open there. The rules require you to take required distributions from each of them. You cannot combine that and take it from one. You have to take it from each individual account. So if account A requires $3,000, you have to take the money from there. Account B requires $5,000, you have to take that money from there. You cannot combine it all and take it from one account. Second rule, another rule here. Married couples may not combine their required distributions from one account. So a lot of people would say, well, why don't we just take all the required distributions for the family out of my IRA? Can't do it. Each individual taxpayer has their own IRAs. They're listed under their tax ID number. So when that tax ID number or the owner of that account turns 72, they have their own schedule for their own money. So you cannot combine spouses' accounts and take it from one. RMDs from an inherited IRA cannot be aggregated as well unless you have 2 accounts from the same descendant. Okay, so that means your father passes away, leaves you 2 or 3 IRAs. You can combine all of those and take the distribution out of one account, one of those. Then you'd also have to, if you were 72, of course, you'd have to take it from your IRAs if you had IRAs under your name. And then here's another good one that a lot of people are unaware of. As long as you do not own more than 5% of the company you work for, you may delay taking required distributions from the retirement plan that's at your current current employer, as long as you continue to work and contribute. That's the big, a lot of people miss that. You can't just be working. You have to be contributing to that plan to be exempt from having to take money from there. The other question is, hey, Ed, I'm still working. I'm contributing. I'm over 72. Does that mean I don't have to take required distributions from any of my accounts? No. You still have to take required distributions from all other accounts that are not your work 401k that you're contributing to and you're continuing to work. All of the other accounts you still have to pull money from. Okay. So once again, these rules really can get complicated, and I'm kind of just touching the surface. I'm just trying to hit the high points as to some of the main questions we get here. And so I hope this has helped maybe clear some of the air up, or, these are things we look at, and just remember that we're here to help. And I once again hope this is giving you a little more clarity on required minimum distributions. And I think what we'll do next week is we'll jump into qualified charitable distributions, or QCDs, and we'll start talking about those, which are fairly, to a lot of people, it's fairly new. So we'll discuss that. But hope this helped. Y'all have a great week. God bless. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.